Continuing in Shav'ah, on page Lamed Zayin, from the paragraph it says, Gemara Tmura, Daf Zayin al Yavitz. Uminala and Shano El. I think this is talking about, right, it's talking about Osni Abaknas. So, okay, so let's go right there. So what were we talking about before? What was the concept of Shav'ah? The idea of Shav'ah was discussed again, I think, if I remember correctly, is that was the method of tefillah of actually changing the way that we ask for things. Basically taking these small things in life and recognizing that, wait a minute, it's not just like some small thing, like parnasa, like, if I don't have parnasa, I don't have a life, I don't have anything, right? Basically the idea was recognizing, I believe, this is Shav'ah, right? Everybody remembers? Everybody have the notes? This is Shav'ah? That I'm talking about, right? Good. Right. If I didn't have health, then you have nothing, right? So basically changing the way that we ask for these things to Hashem. Stopping to just ask these things just in like a happenstance type of way, but actually changing the way we speak about it. That we're really davening for something, we're davening for our life. When we're saying Barech Aleinu, we're not just asking for just, okay, very nice, Parnasa. We're asking for mamash our life. Okay. Well, Gemara Tmura al Yavitz. Uminal and Shano El, where do we know? How do we know that Hashem answered? Dichtiv, Divrei Yamim, Vayikra Yavitz, Yavitz Lele Yisrael, Le'emor, Im Berach Tivarchani. Hashem, if you will bless me, Bisa as Gvuli, and expand the borders, V'haisa Yadeche mi, and your hand will be with me, Ve'asisa Meira, Lebilti Hatzvi, Ve'yave Elokim, Es Asher Shal, and Hashem answers me, and answers all my tefillas. Okay, so let's see what's going on. Im Beirach Tivarchani. I'm assuming he's going to break this down right now, right? So Im Beirach Tivarchani. Hashem, if you're going to bless me, bless me. What is that referring to? B'Torah. Right, so he's saying, Hashem, bless me in Torah. Beisa is Gvuli. What does that mean? It says, expand my borders, B'Talmidim. This is a tefillah, I think, of Osni Knas. And he says, you should expand my borders. That means, give me Talmidim. Your hand should be with me. What does it mean? That I don't forget my learning. Right? This is all encompassed in this one sentence that he said. That also Mara, she is damnu li reim kamosi. And that you should let me have friends that are like me, chaverim that are like me. The bilti atzvi, shli yisagveini yitzhara milashanos. Right? The idea is that the yitzhara should not be able to overcome me. Excuse me. Shlo yisgabe. Sorry. Yitzhara. Yeah. Sorry. Milashanos. Okay, fine. Imata osake mutav. Hashem, if you do this for me, mutav, then great. V'im love. This is famous. Hareini holech benisise leishol. I'm gonna go to the grave. Right? Hareini mace v'etzfoni, according to Rashi. Rashi says that I'm going to die because of my sorrows. If you give me, Hashem, if you give me all these things I asked for, Talmidim, Torah, Bidnei Tahara, Chaverim Tovim, then great. If not, then I'm going to die because of my sadness. Miyad vayavo Elokim es asher shal ayin sham. Immediately HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered him. The Gemara says, right when he said that. Hashem was, in the balance, whatever. The moment he says, if you don't give me this, then I'm just going to die because of my sadness. I can't keep living. If you don't give me Torah, if you don't give me Talmud, I'm going to die. Hashem answered him right away. Wow. Okay. So this ties it in. What are we talking about? We're going to discuss. He's going to explain this, but now we're just this is refreshing my memory about the Chazar we're talking about just changing the way we ask for things. He's going to break this down again. Don't say this. Uma nifla, ma she'gishu Chazal miyad, and how nifla is it? How wondrous is it that Chazal express and they specifically say, when did Hashem answer? The Gemara says miyad, immediately. HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered. Vayavo Elokim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu came and answered immediately. The kevan she'abakashos hayi ba'ofen shel ve'im lav hareini holech ve'nisisi l'shol. That if the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you don't give me these things, then I'm just going to die. I may as well just die. There's no point in me living anymore. The moment he said those words, the moment he turned it into something that his life depends on, Hashem came Vayavo Elokim miyad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered immediately. Right away. The kevan Dabakashus hayu ba'ofen shel v'im b'lav. Okay, we said this. Miyad aneu Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered immediately. Who koiv rachman who ka'av rachman. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was like a merciful father. Shelapamim eno memale bakashus b'no meizasiba. Because sometimes, just like a regular father, a father sometimes won't fill the bakasha of his child for whatever reason. But aval kasher roa shechay b'no tiluyim bazeh. But once what the father sees that the child's life depends on it, then what's he going to do? All right, takeoff. Umiyad, immediately Yoneu. He's immediately going to answer him. Right, so what do we see over here? Again, we're talking about this concept of Shav'ah. And again, I'm assuming he's going to probably speak about it. But the concept is not necessarily that we should be davening in this way. We shouldn't say those words. We're not on that level. But the concept itself of changing the way we ask for things and recognizing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like a merciful father. That Hashem does want to give to us. He wants to give us. And ultimately, sometimes the answer is no. But at the same time, if we make it seem like, if we make it say, I can't keep living. How can I keep doing this? And if we ask for it in a way of showing Hashem that how much we need it, it says miyad HaKadosh Baruch Hu will answer us. There's another parish in the Gemara about this. Im beirach tevarcheni. What does this mean? This is another interpretation, I guess it seems like, of the pasuk, and I guess Divrei Yamim. Im beirach tevarcheni. What does it mean? Give me many children. V'yarbis es gvuli, and expand my borders. Bebanim ubanos, give me many sons and daughters. V'haisel yadecha imi. B'mazav matar, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, give me success in business, in parnasa. V'yasisa mara, shalo yehe bi mechush, rosh u'mechush aznayin, u'mechush aznayin. This is for health, right? You shouldn't give me a headache, so to speak, ear aches and eye aches, and I should just be healthy. The vilti atzvi shalo yisagveni yitzahar melashanos, right? That the yitzahar shouldn't be the shanos, right? It's probably talking about Torah. Okay, so by the way, what's interesting, by the way, don't get discouraged in the sense of this is actually safer. It happens to be very difficult in terms of learning the Hebrew. If you ever learn it by yourself, it's not an easy read. It's modern Hebrew. A lot of it is modern Hebrew. Yeah, it's actually very interesting. There's a lot of modern Hebrew words, which is a little bit more difficult than classic Sefer Hebrew. I'm just letting you know. So don't get discouraged if sometimes it's difficult. It happens to be a difficult Sefer to read. Just because of the fact, again, if you're more versed in modern Hebrew, I think Israelis would probably have an easier time reading this. Not just because, again, I mean, that's not just saying Israelis in general don't have an easy time. Let's say reading an easier time than you, like reading like a Noam Elimelech, for example. Because you have to actually know how to learn in terms of that, just because you know Hebrew. But I'm saying in terms of like a modern Hebrew, it's just a side topic, but that's, I think, what we're saying here. But either way, okay, because I think he's saying just getting Zarmi Lashanas, that the Yitzhar doesn't come and stop me from learning Torah. Im ata osakein muta. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you do this, great. Vim lav, hareni holech benesisi leishol, that I'm going to go straight to the ground. Miyad v'yavalo elkim es asher shal. HaKadosh Baruch Hu answered immediately. Shalo raka bakashos ala Torah. Hey, no goes etzem chaim. And so we see from here the second interpretation, right? The previous one we said, those are only regarding Torah, right? Only limud, right? So we see that over before, okay, fine, so maybe you could say, so the only way we can ever make these bakashas is only in the way if we're asking for limud Torah. And when I says no, because see you clearly hear from this other parish in the Gemara, that it's not just regarding Torah. Ela gam masav and matan, even business, even parnasa, ve'asaras mechushim, even headaches, hemachrachim gemurim la'adam ha'mevin. Right? These are absolute necessities to anybody who wants to understand anything and grow in life. We can't have people struggle with migraine and stuff like this. It's simple stuff. V'ayin bava kama daf ayin beis v'hay delo amri lo chaba orta delo achli bas detura hari dechisaron yishuv adas yachal avi tolos balacha shi hara agdola mikol. Right? The point is that since the person didn't, let's say, saying the Gemara seems to be saying that if a person didn't eat their beef, didn't eat their meat, they were lacking meat in this world, then it's going to bring them to a place of making mistakes and passing halacha because they weren't satisfied and satiated, and that's going to bring the worst of all things. So even these things, that there's no such thing as a mundane ask from Hashem. You don't have to, the way that you have to ask and make these bakashas in the way of Shav'ah, and you should literally be crying to Hashem. It doesn't have to only be about Torah. Again, that should be a big part of it because that is our life. But at the same time, children, parnasa, these are all within the same category. And we see this was the avodah and the work of our avos. Lo rak betfilah, ela b'kol avodah shayu ovdu v'nei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rather, with all the avodas Hashem they did. Shalo hayu mistapkim b'shul madrega b'avodah. They were never satisfied. They were never content, the avos, with any level or madrega that they hit when their avodas Hashem. Ela tamid his amsu, they constantly exerted themselves. Lazu says avodah mu'ula b'yoser sheish b'afshirusa. Whatever they could possibly hit, they kept on going. Madrega. V'doma lamash amar kosim, says in Shmuel. V'David mecharche b'chol eiz lifnei Hashem. That David, he davened. I think he's davened with all of his strength before Hashem. V'ra kam and nifla pasuk zeh. Look how wondrous this pasuk is. Shatorah achol pechas kol chadre batan. That mamish, that the Torah which penetrates, I guess, all the chadre batan of a person, like the deepest depths of a person. Me'idah, the Torah testifies, shekvar lo haya shum oz o koach o tenuah shelo klal David betoch harikud hazel lifnei Hashem. That every single piece of David's body testified, because we know that we're talking about that when David was dancing. That's what it was. Sorry, it's not davening. David mecharcher. It's not. Sorry, it wasn't. It's dancing. This is talking about when they're bringing the Aron Kodesh, right? And David danced before the Aron. Everybody knows this. Everybody, the reason we daven and fight in front of the Sefer Torah. And David Melech did this dance, and he completely lost himself in the dance. Didn't care about anybody thought about him or cared about him. He was just so lost in the simcha of dancing before Hashem. Then That was the koach of this. This is what it's referring to, right? And it says that every bone in David's body, so to speak, testified that there was pure l'shem shamayim. That all David Melech was doing was just because he was just rejoicing with the Torah. The adua beteva shebashas sakana. We know that with nature, whenever we're in the time of danger, could go and mishu borech menesh. For example, someone is running away from a fire. Mizgalim oz ba'adam kochos nifloim shebeder klal hey mistarim. We know that when a person's life is in danger, he's going to unlock certain kochos, certain strength that he never knew even had, that he never even knew were even possible. I remember this. I can testify for this. I remember this on October 7th. I remember because when the guy, my family was. This is a quick side point. This is interesting. This is based on the same thing. I tell guys this, Josh, all the time. When we were here on the when we were here, it was my birthday. We were chilling. October 7th was my birthday. And I know that. Yeah, good bit. Yeah, it's good bit. My birthday's ruined forever. Whatever. We were sitting. I was down there. It was like 7:15 in the morning. I was chilling. I was learning. I was looking. It was beautiful. It was all good. Simchas Torah. Then the sirens started going off, and I wanted to go check on my family, but they kept on being sirens, and I knew my wife was probably freaking out. So I waited for a certain point. Like I was like, okay, like I waited, and my dad happened to be here, so I was like, I need to go check on them. And everybody knows where I live. I live all the way. It's a 7-minute walk, but if you're gonna run that's not easy. That's a mad mountain. Anyways, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna book it. And the sirens kept going, boom, 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 everywhere. Mom was like, we didn't know what was going on, but it sounded like it was like because that day all the rockets were coming to Yerushalayim. You guys were here for this. You only were here for this. Crazy. It was that morning, and it was before Hollow. Like you gotta remember before the whole Hollow shtick, the whole thing. Okay, whatever. Either way, I remember I started going quickly, and I was in the middle of the alley and waiting on the way back up to my house, and there was a little alley over there, and bam, siren starting off. I'm like, shoot, whatever. Okay, but okay, like these types of things. Like this is not the first time we've been to siren and whatever. It's been going off. But I was like, okay, I gotta go find a place. So I started like moving, looking, and all of a sudden, I heard a boom, and I felt the ground shake, and I looked at the top of me, and I saw like this. I'm like, oh my god! I'm telling you, in that moment, I'm telling you, I've never experienced about it. This is the craziest thing I've ever experienced in my life. I started running up this mountain. You have no idea. I first of all, by the way, anybody, you guys know the shtick that the first rocket landed. It was in Mivaseret. That I was outside for that. That was what I felt it. That was what it was. For sure, it was around the same time where I felt like the impact on the ground landed on the other side of the mountain. That was why I was running up the mountain, and I actually felt it. And I was completely exposed for it. And then I felt it. And I was like, oh my gosh! I'm like, I got to get to cover. I ran the mountain. Never ran faster, harder in my life. I remember I didn't stop. I ran full speed up the mountain. I ended up, a woman random woman let me into her shelter. I'm telling you, I couldn't breathe for like 3 days after that. I kept on coughing because of the fact, I can testify to this. I pushed myself past my physical limits. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I've never run harder and faster in my life. And I didn't know when I was capable of it. Like, it was crazy. It's crazy stuff. Anyways, this is a side topic, but that was just an interesting point. But I'm saying, I can testify to this. It's a crazy thing. By the way, we see that person runs, that we see unlost koach in a time of sakar, in a time of danger. The flowing shabbader klal him to start, and in general they're hidden. The yachol livrach mehirus gedola meod lehardim masal is kvedim, but someone could pick up a rock or something, or pick up a stone whenever his life depends on it. Asher be'es shalva him the mila mikocha. But in a time of peace, like you're never gonna run up the mountain like that. That's crazy. In a time when it's just chill, you're never gonna be able to do that. Even if you're going for a run trying to exercise, you're not gonna get that. Ve'amdam al David, but for David Amelech heida haTorah. The Torah. What did the Torah? The Torah testified. The Torah testified. Shekola oz ve'akoach sheyalo b'kol kalkei nafsho. Again, forgive me. I was here since it's the first time learning this in like 3 years. But okay, so ve'amam David ida Torah shekola oz ve'akoach sheyalo b'kol kalkei nafsho. The Torah testified that David, with all of the koach and all the strength that he had in all parts of his body, as kula mishkia b'toch hariko ranifla. That's what he put into this dance in front of the Sefer Torah. Why? Shahare. Because he was dancing before Hashem, Asher eish ochlahu, as if like a fire consumed him, so to speak. Right? Ve'apachad, ve'asimcha, ve'a'ava, kulam b'ligvul, ve'niu es kochosav kulam. They're boundless. Mamish. All this koach is boundless. Let's just finish the next paragraph, and let's see if he brings it together. And then obviously we'll finish the section next time. B'chein amru chazal al avos in Sanhedrin. Shayuratzim lefonav yizbarach kisusim. They would run before Hashem like horses. Al b'tzay chamim. Shalo die. She shall the fun about Badalsam Kfir Cholasam. And they didn't just do according to their level. They would always go above and beyond. El Lamaila Mitzvah, above their nature. Kimosusam Abatzayam, I guess on top of like a bog, I think is the thing. Like it's probably like a marshland or something like that. Right? That horses like running on top of these things, they would go above nature. Shekimat porchim mikoach hapacha, because I guess they're so fat, because I think it's quicksand that we're talking about, right? Shekimat, the shekimat porchim mikoach hapacha, because a horse, so to speak, the Gemara says, like a horse running on quicksand recognizes the danger and the sakana, and the horse just takes off. Penish go bebitza, right? And it just takes off. Kena avasa yizbarach ba'ara b'leva avos ke'esh. So too the fire of the avos, the fire of avos Hashem burned in the lave, in the hearts of the avos. And because of this fear that they would sink into the depths of the tomb of the world, so to speak. This is what motivated them and brought them this koach and this maritza, this hurriedness, that they would constantly be seeking milas and levels, of going above their nature. As if they're mamish running away from fire. What do we see here? The point is that, and well, again, he's going to wrap up this whole section next time we speak. But in the way that we're talking about Shav'ah is, again, recognizing is that this is how we have to approach davening, in the sense of how do we approach talking to Hashem and expressing the things in life that we need, whether we're scared of something, right, like we're talking about here, literally, whether we need parnasa, whether we're ill, whatever it is. The point is that we should be feeling that fire burning as if our life depends on it. You know, when the missiles are flying and the rocket sirens are sounding, that's when you take off. So Shav'ah, davening in a way of Shav'ah, is every single day. Every single time you approach tefillah, you're davening in a way of Shav'ah. You're speaking to Hashem as if your life depends on it. Hashem, I can't succeed in Seder today. I can't focus. What do you mean? I can't do it. Hashem, you tell me, Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. You want me to learn. I can't learn, Hashem. I can't learn. Do something about it. Please, Hashem, I'm begging you. I can't go to Seder today. I can't learn today. Please, let me learn. I'm begging you. Right? That's the way you got to daven. That's the way of davening with Shav'ah. That's the way of making bakashas in the way of Shav'ah. Making your life dependent on it, as if your entire day, your entire Seder, your entire life depends on it. That's the way that he's talking about tying in these concepts of bakashas. And ultimately, that's what's going to bring us to feeling this fire that he's talking about, like the avos, in our hearts. Bez Hashem, we will continue and finish this section next time. Bez Hashem.